Good evening, everyone. You're watching Full Spectrum Survival with another live show. It's just after 8 p.m. Eastern. It is on May 10th. I hope you all are having a happy Sunday evening. We have a lot of crazy things that are happening out there with the Latvian defense minister. Some of the wild suggestions that Donald Trump and the Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel have made, including everyone being compromised who carries around a phone. They go on to describe just how quickly and easily operatives can get into your phone, make you download certain things, and then paint you in a picture, according to Netanyahu, as a monster. And they can do this with relative ease, so much so that I believe that every politician is probably running some sort of operation of their own in which they're either always with somebody who can vouch for them, or they're running two phones simultaneously so that they can say, hey, look, that obviously wasn't me. I was operating this phone at that time. It's getting pretty crazy out there. Thank you guys for being here with us. Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube. Hey, Kansas. Lower Appalachia here, Louisiana, checking in. Yeah, if you guys would hit that thumbs up button for me, let everyone on YouTube land know that we're live and we've got a lot to talk about. Let's see what we've got Netanyahu talking about right here.
Netanyahu attributes the reputational...
This is yours, right? You're not immune either, because you can penetrate this machine, you can penetrate this little instrument, and you can say about Major Garrett anything you want, and I can paint you as a monster. And if I say it often enough people will believe it.
Do you believe...
That's blowing my mind, because a year ago, 2 years ago, you would have never heard politicians, especially from America or Israel, laying the game out so easily for you to read. They just laid the game out so that everybody knows just how bad it is. Thank you so much, David Yeoman. $10 super chat. Wrecked is right. Wrecked is kind of the state of our republic, isn't it? So what Netanyahu just explained to the world that is watching is that they can penetrate, as he so aptly puts it, your cell phone. They can do it from distance. They can do it online. They can drive you to a site. They can make a site look like another site. And once they get into your phone, which is anybody who thinks that their phone is secure has no one. It's like being on the Truman Show. You're the only person who thinks that everyone isn't watching you. Your phones are very much not secure, and Netanyahu just laid it out. They'll put it on your phone, what they want the world to believe. They'll call you a monster, and they will say it over and over again so that the rest of the world believes it. Listen close again, because I just want you guys to really let it sink in just how bad it is. He picks up the presenter's phone.
This is yours, right? You're not immune either, because you can penetrate this machine, you can penetrate this little instrument, and you can say about Major Garrett anything you want, and I can paint you as a monster. And if I say it often enough people will believe it.
Do you believe Israel is at risk of losing this war on that social media front? And this is particularly, I believe, important in America for younger Americans, Republican and Democrat, scrolling through images, and they would use words like barbaric in Gaza and in Lebanon.
Israel has gone to unbelievable lengths to get innocent civilians out of harm's way. We text message millions of text messages to them, make millions of phone calls to them, pamphlets, leaflets, you name it, okay? We have seen the deterioration of the support for Israel in the United States almost, I would say it correlates almost 100% with the geometric rise of social media.
Well, there you have Netanyahu saying that there is a general social understanding of Israel being shifted across the United States of America. Now, here's what they will do. They will have Israel come back at a future time, at a future video. Just write this down somewhere, jot it into your brain, that they will have Israel come as the savior to America, because America is the cash cow. When you look at all of the countries around the world, there's few cash cows. Not many aren't controlling their own cash. So for the United States of America, think about how much we spend in China, how much we get supplies from China, how much we rely on these other countries to refine our oil, how much we rely on all of our products, washing machines, air conditioners, vehicle parts, airplane parts, cell phones, cameras, street lights. We rely on other countries. We are their cash cow. And so being a cash cow to a country means that they have a vested interest in you wanting their service. So Israel right now, and this is the part I really want you to lock in. Israel just said that the United States of America has had a waning public view of Israel. So I want you to remember this, that sometime in the future, Israel is going to be the, on paper, savior of the United States of America. And then they will shift that interest back towards Israel. Thank you so much for the questions that we have coming in. Yeah, we are going to run out of fuel. The problem is right now, we are in what is called a deficit. We're bleeding out our reserves in fuel. Once that is bled out, which will correlate to about the Freedom of America July 4th period, then we're going to be in an oil shortage. The oil shortage doesn't mean we're going to run out of oil, folks. Don't worry about that. What it means is that it's going to cost us more. So you could be looking at $7 a gallon at the pump. You could be looking at, $10 a gallon diesel at the pump. And they're going to push that cost right back into all of your products. Bird flu, right in time. Bird flu, they say now, is airborne. They've said that this raises concern of a wide outbreak taking place.
It gave a certain amount of support on particular components of missile manufacturing. But I can't say more than that.
Does that disturb you?
Well, I didn't like it.
Because it's apparently doing it right now.
Could be. I don't want to speak for China. I don't want to speak also.
But you have eyes and ears on this.
Yeah, well, but I also have a closed mouth when necessary.
So they know what's going on. They know China is using a proxy war. This is probably, guys, you want to talk about scary. I don't care what Netanyahu has to say. I don't care what Donald Trump is really talking about. I'm looking at action. This video, me as a survival-minded prepper, homesteader, as a family member, this video scares me more than anything that they could be saying. This is what your POV, or point of view, of a person attacking your vehicle or your house will see. You will never see them coming. This is of the cartel wars down in Mexico and down in South America as they use drone warfare on a near civilian level. Look at this. This is the view that scares me more than anything Donald Trump could say, more than anything that Netanyahu has to say. This is what concerns me, because this, you will never see this coming. With a 3D printer and about $15 worth of materials, they can print out a mechanism that sits on the bottom of publicly available. You can go buy it for around $300, a drone capable of carrying and deploying a munition. So you're talking about a $400 investment. Hey, Daryl, a $400 investment. That's about how much a firearm costs, right? You go and get a new firearm, costs about $400. So for a $400 investment, the enemy can go out and purchase right on normal public platforms, Amazon, a 3D printer. The plans are already online for the printer. It makes a deployable mechanism that he just pushes a button. It sends a signal through the drone. The drone deploys a munition. It drops it to the ground. Now you might say, okay, no big deal. Why? Because there aren't just grenades laying around the United States of America, and in that you are right. But do you know what there is? We have plenty of chemical materials. We have chemical materials that can be dropped onto your AC unit. We have chemical materials that can ignite when mixed. So they put two different components inside of a mason jar. Okay? When mixed, so the mason jar drops from a couple hundred feet up in the air. When it drops and breaks, those chemical components mix to create another reaction. This reaction can either cause a fire, so you could have your homestead, your hay bales, your barn, your backyard, the roof of your house. Your enemy can light this on fire, and you never see them coming. So part of your quick reaction force needs to be that you have a constant watch. What does it take to have a constant watch? Well, it takes a group. Because even at the highest levels of surveillance, we don't have the ability to surveil the sky for drone activity rapidly. Now, on GitHub and some other outlets, there are some civilian level radar systems that have some drone detection capability, but it's mostly military and law enforcement right now. This means we're very behind the curve, and being behind the curve is concerning. Your enemies can drop explosive devices. They can drop caustic materials. Imagine they drop something caustic, onto your vehicle, rendering it inoperable. They ruin your food supply. They spread poison over your crops. They drop, something into your water system, into your lake that you're gathering water from. There are an innumerable amount of bad actors that can cause havoc to a survival group. So Drone Watch needs to be pretty high up on your personal survival plan. To have a 24-hour drone watch means you have to have an outside listening post or somebody manning a microphone system outside, like a camera system, that can pick up the buzz of a drone. And then that person needs to have a night vision capability, because half of your 24-hour watch is going to be in the dark. So a night vision capability and the ability to follow where that drone is. And that's where things get a little bit hairy, because following where a drone is through a wooded area means you don't have fast transport. And that means you can only kind of narrow down where it's at. Now, what you can do is have an anti-drone system. That system can start with one level at bird netting around your area, and that might actually stop some of those dropped devices like mason jars from being able to burst, right? So if they do drop it, you put bird netting all over your crops. You put it over top of your vehicle area. So when they drop a device or they drop a mason jar full of material, it hits the netting and can't burst. That's kind of step one. Step two is another drone that is operated by your group that can follow that one back home. You can kind of see where it's coming from. So you have to have a multi-layered, defense against this type of bad actor. I saw somebody asking about Cash App for donations. I don't have one, but Kelly does. If you email me, I'll get you the Cash App. My wife does. But please, if you wanted to Cash App a donation, go become a Patreon member at patreon.com/full spectrum survival. Then I can send you out monthly survival cards, and you can actually get something in return for helping my family out. All right, let's see what else we've got going on here. This video, I'm sure you've seen tons of information about that Hanta, Montana virus, right? It is something on our radar, as it should be on your radar. It didn't stop me going into the store today, and it's not going to stop me going into the store tomorrow. In last night's broadcast, we showed the cruise ships singing a song to the people who they treat like children, said no washy-washy, no yummy-yummy. In short, if you don't wash your hands, they're not giving you any food. Well, we're all adults here, but I do like to watch what the government is doing. This video shows the government airdropping through military force oxygen supplies to a certain area. Thank you so much, Bullish Dragon.
Fill up. Fly.
So here's them actually airdropping the supplies. They're airdropping oxygen. They're airdropping medicine. Lifting the flag. And here you see some of these supplies, including the oxygen, the medicine, some food products. They're kind of using this as a... they've came out and said that this oxygen is for the people who have suffered from that virus, that they're, on one hand, they're watching it closely and telling people to quarantine for 45 days. On the other hand, they're saying it's nothing to worry about. I guess I'm more concerned when they say it's nothing to worry about than when they tell you that it is something to be afraid of. Because I can make those decisions for myself, and you can too. I'm more concerned with the people than I am the product. But I am watching what they're doing, including dropping these oxygens.
What happened to the audit of Fort Knox?
Which one are you talking about?
I think when you first got into office, you and Elon Musk talked about auditing.
Well, we
gold
wanted
make
to go
sure it's
knock
there.
on the door, Fort Knox, very thick door, and to see whether or not we have any gold in there, because we'll take a look at it. It's a very interesting question, yeah. We played with that. I wonder if they left the gold in Fort Knox, because they steal a lot.
No need to really do that, though?
Well, I don't know. I think it's... I do want to go to Fort Knox sometime. I want to see if the gold is there.
Let me tell you what I believe happened. Donald Trump campaigned on truth, and then he was told the truth once he became president. And because it is now a matter of national security, you will never see that truth come out. The truth is, they don't have your best interest in heart. The truth is, they will not tell you just how bad the situation is. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for becoming a Patreon member. I see it. I'll see the email come through soon. I've got it here. Make sure you reply to the email that you get back from us to send in your address so I can send you out those monthly survival cards. So Donald Trump here is saying, yes, we played with that idea that we were going to go and discover whether there was actual gold left in Fort Knox. But now that he's president, he was told the truth, and unfortunately that will never wash down to you. This is video released from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency.
All right, hold on. All right, he's about to Atlantis. FHP is behind him. All right.
So FHP is Florida Highway Patrol.
Light it up. Get ready to bail. If he bails out.
Driver, put your hands out the window now! I'm going to turn that down because that's blowing my ears out. Hey, Alaska. Thank you so much for the super chat. That is from Adina Ruab. This is 9857. Thank you for all your family does. I appreciate that super chat. Thank you so much. Would you please send me an email with your YouTube username and some other, I just want to be able to thank you in return.
Stop.
Hold on. All right, Josh, get your weapon out. Let's clear. Clear.
What did he just throw?
Clear.
Thanks, Mass Chaos.
Just another perfect display of our partnership with our local law enforcement, the Florida Highway Patrol, and other federal partners. We got a lead on this individual here, Honduran national. He's associated with the MS-13 transnational gang, is also a known suspected terrorist. During the search of the car, we found some minor narcotics. We're also have him currently under a firearms investigation federally at this time. So he's going to be going over to the Palm Beach County Jail tonight, and we'll be moving him over to ICE custody shortly, and also following up on the criminal investigation we have going on this individual.
Well, I'm 100% for this. Get them put to ICE, get them put out of the country.
Oh.
Listen to these very choice words that J.D. Vance, the vice president, says.
What did you advise the president initially as he considered his actions in Iran, and what are you urging him to do now, especially with Americans seeing higher prices at the pump and some of the fallout from that across the economy? Do you express any concerns like those you've expressed in the past on the possibility of these extended wars?
Well, Bill, I appreciate the question. I know you guys have to ask it, but imagine the situation. We're in the situation room where you can't even take.
I didn't know he was Polish, David.
Take your iPod in there, or your AirPods, I guess what they're called. You can't take your iPhone in there. You can't take anything in there because it is the most classified space anywhere in the world. And I sit there with Pete Hegseth and General Kane and Marco Rubio and the entire White House team, and the president and I and the entire senior team are talking about the options and about what we need to do and about how we must best protect the American people. I hate to disappoint you, but I'm not going to show up here and in front of God and everybody else tell you exactly what I said in that classified room, partially because I don't want to go to prison.
I won't tell you what I said in that classified room because I don't want to go to prison. Is that just because it was classified? Or is that because there is a tear inside of our political ruling class? These are more of the, we showed a little bit of video on this live show last night. These are Tampa police officers arresting a so-called teen takeover. And, they use this term, teen takeover, on media when most of these people are over 18. So what, an over 18 takeover? These are adults, folks. These are riots. These are riots. This isn't a teen takeover, which is just a cute way of saying a bunch of punks went out and rioted. What these people are doing is they go into buildings, they are throwing people out of buildings, they're attacking people. And the concern for your family is that you're in the middle of one of these cutesy teen takeovers, which are really unlawful actions against civilians. They shut down streets, they are attacking people. There's a lot of violence that happens. They don't like the look of you, and so they knock you down. They kick you in your face. You go to jail. The cops say, hey, we're doing everything that we can. Really, a lot of nothing happens with it. you're looking at the law enforcement point of view. So this is off of a law enforcement camera, body cam. They're showing that in one of these events, they're trying to arrest as many people as they possibly can and get them into handcuffs.
If they can return to their vehicle, we need somewhere to put these 10-15s in. Any units with vehicles like Gasparilla Plaza, please return to your vehicle.
Thank you so much, Christy Cards, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you.
I spoke with another landowner who owns property not far from my farm yesterday, and I heard yet something else very concerning that I feel compelled to share on here. So many people will say to me, well, if the farmer was old, about to retire or pass on, can you really blame him for selling the land to solar? Or, oh, the farm wasn't really being worked anyway. This person I spoke to has very much an active working farm. There are multiple people, multiple animals working day in and day out at this farm. No one's about to retire. The farm hasn't been left to the wayside. Yet this person has been approached personally by Big Solar to sell their farm, their currently working farm, off for $1,500 an acre. Also, mind you, in this area, we're in Saratoga County, it is so rich with history from the Revolutionary War that this property and a lot of properties near mine have structures on them from the 1700s.
You have a good night, Revelation. So this young lady is discussing multiple local areas being propositioned by solar agencies. We see it about data centers. If the people don't sell, because of course you're not going to sell for $1,500 an acre. If they don't sell, a lot of very strange wildfires pop up inside of these areas. Speaking of fires that pop up, this was a plastic recycling plant. This was inside of Tennessee. It is still smoldering right now. Yeah, happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. I have no qualms about wishing all of our beautiful and great mothers a happy Mother's Day. My only personal take on it is I make sure that the mother of my children, my wife, and everybody's mom knows that they're loved and appreciated every day. Just make sure that someday, next week, next month, tell your mom happy Mother's Day. She'll say, well, it's not Mother's Day. And you just tell her that's because I appreciate you every day. Make sure that they know they're loved. All right, we've got some other video coming out here. This is the reaction from the Iranians. They said, we just saw the so-called, as they call Trump, the so-called president of the United States, but it doesn't matter what he had to say. The negotiation team does not try to please Donald Trump. He says Donald Trump does not like reality. This is that fire breaking out inside of China. Now, why do you think these things are happening? It's not often that operators can get inside of China, but they exist there. We definitely have operators inside of the USA from countries that hate the USA. They were open borders running through. Our anti-terrorism guys believe that there's probably 15,000 operators. Now, an operator is not just somebody who just got in here and they just kind of don't like your country. An operator is a soldier. This is a well-informed and well-trained individual. They believe that we have at least 15,000 still residing inside of our country. They believe that these operators are heavily, it's either my internet or it's YouTube. They believe that these operators are heavily integrated into our country. That means that you never know. You won't know who they are, and they don't even look like a member of another country. The operators are probably looking just like you, but they are working with and for enemy states. And that's pretty concerning, because if they're willing to set fire to warehouses, and they're willing to sabotage railway tracks, and they're willing to set up bio laboratories, and they're willing to do all these things, where does it stop? It really doesn't stop until the United States of America is no more.
Will your team travel to Moscow, Mr. President?
Consider leaving the World Health Organization because of the outbreak of hantavirus?
No, we seem to have things under very good control. They know that virus very well. It's been around a long time. Not easily transferable, unlike COVID. But we'll see. We're studying it very closely. We have very good people studying it very closely.
Now, again, we've talked about it recently, folks, because we have a community member here who is a virologist, a very no fear, don't be afraid of what's going on virologist. And they gave us a timeline, May 21st through May 31st. Only if you start seeing confirmed clusters at that point do you have it even elevated on your radar. Until that point, it's business as usual. But between May 21st, which is the end of next week, not the end of this week that's starting tomorrow, the end of the week after, and the end of the month, so around June 1st, if you start seeing clusters at that point, now you've got to elevate it on your radar. I'm not telling you not to go anywhere. I'm just saying elevate it, keep a close eye, set up your own family's, triggers.
I don't need your aircraft carriers after we've already won. So, those things are very disappointing. And you have to remember, we have 45,000 troops in Japan. We have 45,000 troops in South Korea. We have 50,000 troops in Germany. We defend all these countries. And then, do you have any minesweepers?
Somebody said that does orange spray tan cure the Hanta thing? It might. And if it does, you'll see me out here, as orange as I could be. What about the tick virus? So alpha-gal is the tick-borne disease or virus that makes it so that you become immediately, within days, allergic to red meat. That's one of those coincidence events that I look at and say, all right, if you want us to stop eating meat, which you've already said we have to because of cow passings, and if you tell us that they're already doing it by proxy, beef prices are unaffordable. That doesn't mean we're not eating it. It's just unaffordable. So if they're already doing it to us to make us eat less meat, does that mean that it's out of their wheelhouse to make it so that you can't eat it? I don't think so. I think somebody's design is for a world in the future in which only a certain group of people have access to real food, to the good stuff. The stuff that it used to be the poor couldn't afford to go out to eat, so they had to eat Brussels sprouts and collard greens at home and cauliflower at home and broccoli. But now it's the rich that get to eat the good stuff. Actual fruit, actual vegetables, actual red meat. I think that is their game plan. And whether I'm wearing my conspiracy glasses for that or not, it just seems we've seen too much proof that that's their intention.
And they say, well, would it be possible for us not to get involved? I've been saying it for a long time.
Yeah, they will tell you that eating dirt is the next thing to save you. Okay, so there's lots of discussion right now that there's increased chatter in the intelligence world about people saying that high-level Trump Administrators need to be removed, not from office, but removed. We are seeing lots of attacks in the political world. We just saw 2 different plane crashes in the last week. We are seeing people their houses being shot up. We are seeing actual people attending events with intentions to harm the president. We're seeing all these things happen. So it makes sense to me that there is chatter that a lot of people are getting to that point in America where they're ready to go on the offensive. This is a university study showing that artificial intelligence will be used to hijack democracy, and you won't even know it. That AI personas are becoming so realistic that they can infiltrate communities and subtly steer public opinion. It used to take bots, which are very low-level intelligence. Now they can adapt, coordinate, and refine their messaging at a massive scale, creating what they call a false sense of consensus. You know, when they call the Americans and citizens everywhere sheep, the reason that they do that is because it only takes one shepherd and a couple of dogs to be able to get the sheep to move. And then once a couple of the sheep start moving, the rest of the sheep say, okay, this must be what I need to do. And so they just follow that suit without ever questioning it for themselves. And so the idea is that they're going to use massive cognitive behavioral mechanisms in media and in the populace to be able to get everybody to act a certain way. And I think that, by the way, we already see that people almost can't communicate without using ChatGPT or some other program. I think that's exactly what we are up against. Preserve your personality. Preserve your individualism. Preserve your family. I never thought, I always knew the Amish were smart because they didn't want to integrate to a idealism. And in that way, I thought they were smart. So I think that it is about time that everybody takes a little bit of a cue from the Amish or Mennonite mentality, and you do as much as you can to preserve your individualism. Now, I was just talking with a group member today. He said that he doesn't even travel with his cell phone. And that's smart. He uses it when he has to. And when he doesn't, it's in a EMP bag. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't still have some auditory monitoring capability. It's definitely still sending trilateral satellite and GPS information for identification purposes. But if you travel without it, then it can only gather what you're aware of. And so in that way, he is preserving his individualism, his right to locomotion, his freedom of his expression. Otherwise, it is monitored, sold, purchased by the government, locked into a system of artificial intelligence, and it is up to somebody else to determine whether you are a threat to national security or not. This is like precog, Minority Report level. You might never act a bad way. You might not have a bad intention in your heart. But it's up to the consensus of a group you will never meet of whether you're a bad guy or not. Well, folks, this is going to be a little bit short of a live show. Definitely in airplane mode, they still have. So your phone, your spy device, operates on 2 levels. And it's kind of like how your organs operate separately from your brain. So your system has 2 different levels. One never turns off. And it runs on such a very economic ability that it doesn't even need the battery inside of it to operate. And it stores certain information even without power. So having it on airplane mode, while that might get rid of some of your targeted advertising, it definitely doesn't take away the problem. Consider how you and your family will preserve your individualism, your right to self-sustainability, your right to defense, because that's the only way you're going to preserve your future. Guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here with us tonight on Sunday night. We've done a Sunday night live show for the last couple of weeks, and I wanted to keep up with that tonight because they're really great for me. I think that our ability to get on here and talk about what's happening around there really sets us a couple of weeks, it seems, ahead of the rest of preparedness, information gathering, because a lot of you are keyed into things that maybe aren't on my radar yet. The community makes us aware of things that are happening locally to them that maybe aren't affecting our locales yet, but are coming. And so we are just watching. So it's kind of like we have our own 24-hour watch together. Thank you guys for being here with us. From my family to yours, please stay safe. Please remain aware of what is happening. You're going to have some family members that just do not want to be aware, and that's okay. But then it becomes up to you on whether once reality slaps them in the face or knocks them down, whether you take on that burden. Because everything that you're preparing for is to offset a future burden, whether that's food shortages, medicine problems, civil unrest, social wars, gas price increases, riots in your city. You're trying to offset future problems. So you have to make that decision that, hey, Brother John did not want to be aware of it for 5 years. Now he has no job and can't get another. He can't pay his rent. Now he's asking if he can come put up a camper at my location. Will I take on that burden? So maybe it's time to have that talk with Brother John and say, here's what's happening. I want you to have some security in the future. If you want that security in the future, and even if you don't want to be aware of everything that's happening, you have to come help me. And if he's not willing to help you, maybe you say, okay, well, you made that decision not to help me when I needed your help. And now you're coming to me needing my help. So it's tit for tat. But again, that's a personal decision, whether you will take on that burden. That goes for parents, goes for children who don't want to be aware. It goes for neighbors who don't want to help neighbors out. Make a plan and be ready to stick to it. You guys are great. Thank you so much for being here with us. Thank you for everybody who is helping other people. Thank you for remaining aware. And until tomorrow morning's broadcast, please stay safe and